This is a little refresher for you for the Toulmin Analysis, or if you're a little fuzzy on how to do it, this should help you a little bit. Be sure you've read the chapter already, because this is just a supplement. This won't teach you how to do it. Before we get started, I would like to show you a little example of what Stephen Toulmin originally came up with. Students in other classes or possibly in other colleges that are not using AIMS will have different terminology. I don't want you to get a little frightened if you hear someone talking about it that you learned the wrong thing. Crusius and Channell from AIMS created a really simplified method that I like a great deal, and that's why I teach it. But it's very similar to the original, just different vocabulary. Let's look at that real quickly. The claim is still the case claim. That hasn't changed. The data and backing are what Crusius and Channell call evidence. The warrant right here is something that Crusius and Channell have pretty much eliminated, and it's an assumption. It's the assumption, and if there were lines here, it would be right here, okay? So let's talk about that warrant for a second. If my case claim were, healthy foods will help you eliminate wrinkles, and then my evidence is data from studies that show that's true, an authority saying that it's true, and my own experience showing that it's true. Those would all be my evidence or data. My assumption is that my reader doesn't want to have wrinkles. Okay, people don't want to have wrinkles, so I'm making that warrant. And then I would have to prove that, so I'd have more evidence right here, and my proof would be that 70% of the people who've gotten plastic surgery have done so to get rid of wrinkles. So you see that Crusius and Channell kind of eliminated this and just put the evidence all in one place. The reservation is what Crusius and Channell call the exception, and the qualifier remains the same for both. Okay, so let's go on now that we know that. Now this is the modified model that Crusius and Channell have come up with. Again, I like it a great deal. At the top we have our position, which they call the case claim. After that we have the qualifier. You don't always have a qualifier. There might not be one. Sometimes the author or the speaker is very firm in the position. Again, an example, abortion should be against the law. That is a case claim without a qualifier. If, however, our author believes that there are exceptions, for example, in cases of rape, or if there is incest, that abortion should be okay, then this author needs a qualifier, or you need a qualifier if that's your position. And that qualifier is simply the words that kind of lighten up my case claim. In this case, I would say, in most cases, abortion should be against the law. My qualifier, therefore, is in most cases, right? And then my exceptions later would be rape or incest. Holding up my case claim are my reasons or main points, all right? Those are the things I like to say would go on your fingers, because this and this and this, all right? Those are the reasons that we give to support our case claim. Our evidence, usually students understand that very clearly, but what comes between the evidence and the reason is we must decide if our reasons are relevant. Do they have anything to do with what we're arguing? Okay? If I'm arguing to my father that he should not make me pay for the garage which I ran into with my car because I was texting, and I say one of the reasons is because my dad is a lousy driver too, that argument or that reason is not relevant. Okay, it lacks relevance. So when you're examining Devastating Beauty and you've discovered the reasons that Teal Pfeiffer gives for her case claim, you have to ask yourself, does that belong in this argument? Is that relevant? All right, and then we do the same thing for the evidence. Is the evidence good? Come from a reliable place, lacking bias, and is it relevant? Does it have anything to do with the reason that it's supporting? On our next slide, we see the rest of the Toulmin analysis. So after you've looked at the part where the author is putting forth his or her argument, now we have to look and see, did this author consider what the other side or sides have in mind? That's called the refutation. So all of this is really this, refutation. What were the opposing points that Pfeiffer brings out? Do they have, are they legitimate opposing points? Did she choose the real opposing points? Or did she ignore the most important ones and just put in the ones that are the easiest to argue against, which is called straw man fallacy. We'll learn that next time. So you have to look at those and you have to say, if indeed the author did choose good opposing points, the real opposing points, did the author rebut them sufficiently, in your opinion? Okay, was the position against those opposing points convincing? Finally, and most important for this assignment, after you've done all that, you're going to write just a 1 or 2 paragraph analysis summary. I want you not to throw away everything you figured out up here, down here. Yeah, it was poor evidence, a poor rebuttal, a straw man for opposing points, but gosh, it was so well written, it was a great argument. Okay, this is designed, this critical analysis, this Toulmin analysis is designed to get all that good writing, all that emotion out of the way long enough for you to make a rational decision. And that's what your summary analysis will be. Be sure you use the vocabulary you've just learned in this analysis. All right, thank you. Hopefully that helped you.